Okay, let's have a conversation. We got something weird that I did not expect to happen as we go into this offseason. There's all this contract extension talk, and it all is surrounding one player, Jared Goff. But then you come out here and you see something like this on Twitter. Cam Marino, and by the way, if you don't follow us on Twitter, whoops. You heard it. I know you heard it. I'm so sorry. If you don't follow us on Twitter, do it. X, whatever you want to call it. So the Detroit Lions and star receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown are in discussions that would give St. Brown's contract an extension of at least 3 years at an annual salary of $25 million, extending St. Brown as a priority for the Lions as they enter this offseason. This is not super unusual, but I have a crazy idea. I have a crazy idea. So here's what you need to know on how salary caps work. And as I'm doing that, I'm trying to pull up a couple of different things for you because I find it to be very, very interesting. But we'll start by taking a look at St. Brown's current contract. All right, he currently is set to make $1.2 million next year. That's it. And he probably wants some money, and he wants it a little sooner. And I'm good with that. Like, let's give him that money. Let's go. All right, I have absolutely no problem with that for St. Brown. I have an idea, and it started making me search and scour the internet. And I looked at Jordan Love, and I remember them signing him to a contract extension where they gave him a 1 year, $22.5 million extension. And I'm like, can they add that to 2023? What does that look like? What does it look like here? And they hit the yearly cash here at $10 million. Okay. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then they had some void years on the back end of it. And I'm like, it got me wondering, can you actually change to pay a player more earlier than later? And I promise I'll explain this, because all of you are like, why would you want to pay a guy more? Like, why in the world would you want to pay a guy more? And here's the reason that I want to pay a guy more. The Detroit Lions are sitting here with a salary cap where they have a ton of room. All right. If you look down here, the belief is that the Lions will have somewhere around $50 million to spend. They have to pay Jared Goff. They have to pay Penei Sewell. They have to pay Amon-Ra St. Brown. They are going to have to pay Laporta. They're going to have to, do you see what I'm saying here? And all these guys will be commanding more money later. So what if you can give Amon-Ra St. Brown, let's just call it $25 million. The market estimate here is 26.3, but based on an article, we are seeing that it would pay St. Brown in the likes of $25 million per season range, and they're looking at it being a 3-year deal. So here's my question. If it's a 3-year deal worth $75 million, that's going to cost you $25 million a year. But what if you add $15 million of that to the 4th year of his contract, of his rookie contract, and then you have a couple more, let's say it's 3 years, 4 years, $100 million, but you add some of it, like $10 million of it now all of a sudden, or $15 million of it, you are subtracting $5 million from the cap each year after that subsequently. So I was doing all this digging, and I'm just like, is this allowed? Like, I've never seen a team do it, because teams usually want to push money down the road. Now, I'm a very fiscally responsible man, so I want to pay for it now. I don't want to pay the interest later, right? I want to pay for it now, and I want to save later so I can continue to build my team. So I was doing some looking, and this is the collective bargaining agreement, Article 7, Section 3, and it's renegotiations. So here's what it says. A rookie contract for a drafted rookie may not be renegotiated, amended, or altered in any way until after the final regular season game of the player's third contract year. So I read that as you can change it. Okay, you can change it after the 3rd year. You can be amended if both teams agree to it. They can sign a contract that changes it. All right. It then goes on down here to say, for the avoidance of doubt, any permissible renegotiated or extended player contract shall not be considered a rookie contract and shall not be subject to the rules that limit rookie contracts. So here's how I read it. If the Detroit Lions want to pay Amon-Ra St. Brown 3 years, $75 million, they could start it right now. So it could be a 3-year, $75 million extension that gives him $25 million for the 2025, and I'll show it here. All right, for I guess the best way to say it would be, and I'll see if I can actually find a better place to show you as I'm talking. And what we can do here is to pay him for the 2025, 2026, and 2027 seasons, but you put $15 million of it on the 2024, so his cap hit goes from $1.2 million to $17 million, $16.2 million, and then each of those 3 years you are just paying him, instead of $25 million, you are paying him $20 million, which frees up more money to pay guys like Jared Goff, to pay guys like Penei Sewell, and things like that as the contract comes to an end. It also allows Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is 24 years old, to get another contract, and he can sign a 4 or 5 year contract when he is 28 years old rather than when he is 29 or even 30. So you allow him to get in there and be younger when the next contract happens so he can sign a longer, even more lucrative contract. I think it can work on both sides, and I think St. Brown would be up for it. I talked about this idea with Jared Goff, and I talked about how you could extend him for like 4 years, $180 million. And so that would be $45 million a year, and how you could put $20 million of it on this year, so you're only paying him $80 million a year, which allows it to be reasonable for you. So if they do that to both St. Brown and Goff, they would eat up, $40 million of the cap. 35 to 40 million of the cap. They'd still probably have another 20 million to spend. You could go out, you could get an edge defender, you could do something like that this year, but you are not hamstringing yourself for the future. You're staying flexible. It's crazy number stuff. Let me know what your thought process is. Do you think it's just stupid to pay someone now? Or are you kind of in favor of this type of thing? I don't know if Brad Holmes is thinking about it. I don't know what his thought process is, or if he's not worried about the future. He just wants to take care of business and sign people now. But we can't just go out and go nuts. If we want to have guys, the free agents, like everybody's like, oh, we got $60 million to spend. Let's just go and get an edge defender. Let's spend $30 million on Josh Allen. It'll be fine. Well, it's not fine when St. Brown needs to be paid and when Goff needs to be paid. But this might tweak it in a way where it saves $10 million a year for the next 3 years after this year. That might allow you to go out and sign a guy like that and still have room to pay your own players. All right. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.